Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of WeSportin Podcast. And today we are going to be discussing the Washington Commanders football season in general and talk about what happened and our thoughts and everything else because it was a pretty fucked up season. Haven't experienced a 4-win season since that 2019 Chase Young season. So well, I'm here with Chris, obviously, and we're gonna be just talking. So Chris, let's start off. Your thoughts on the season. We finished 4-13. What were your
Um,
expectations prior to the season starting?
Prior to the season, I definitely thought we would be better than a 4-13 team or whatever we were, 4-win, 3-win team. I definitely thought we wouldn't be in that range. I thought we'd be closer to the 8-win range. I definitely thought that for the previous year we've been around the 7-win margin. So I thought we was gonna finally take it up to 8 to 9 wins and maybe could sneak a wild card spot. And I was just totally wrong. The season went downhill. We had a pretty easy start to the season and we just squandered it and it went down from there, bro.
Yeah, it was a season with high hope. Coming off of 3 straight 7-win seasons. I believe the first one was a 6-win season. Coming off of that Ron Rivera era, we went 7-9 or 7-10. We made the playoffs. Then following year, we won 7 games. Then the year after that was the one. There was the year that I think the year that me and you thought that that was the one year where I thought that maybe this team could actually make a deep playoff run. When then they sadly fell to the New York Giants, and that one Sunday night game, which was a pass interference. And to this day, we still got fucked over. But now going on to it now, this season we started off 2-0. We had a win over the Cardinals, and we had the win over the Broncos, which was the Broncos game was a miraculous win, comeback win for the team. 21-3 deficit at one point, coming back with a rookie quarterback. Well, not rookie, but a first-year rookie quarterback. And now after that, it was just loss after loss. And then we got that one win in Atlanta. We always get that one win in Atlanta. For some reason, we always beat Atlanta, get that one win on Atlanta. And then we beat the Patriots. And then we didn't have another victory Monday since week 9, week 8, week 10. I don't even remember when the last one was. Chris, at 2-0 sitting there, did you genuinely think Sam Howell was the guy?
Yeah, I did, and even past 2-0, even when we started to drop some games, I still thought that he was doing pretty good. It was only until that final stretch where it was But at the end of the day, I do still feel like it was still his first season, and he is getting kicked out a little too soon. But it's just how it goes, bro. Business is business, and this happens all the time. A lot of guys don't get a fair shake at being the guy, so he's not getting a fair shake, but he got his chance, so he can't really complain.
Right.
2-0, like I was saying, bro. It's crazy because I was just thinking about this the other day. When we was at 2-0, it was just crazy. The high horse was crazy. It was a fun time, and we just got knocked right off. So yeah.
Brought right back to reality. I think the one game that really broke the Commanders this season, and I'm not saying this for any reason, but I think the one game that broke the Commanders this season was that Chicago Bears game on Sunday or Monday Night Football, whenever it was. That game pissed me off. That game, for those who don't know, I live in the Chicago area. I was so pissed when the Commanders got their shit. It wasn't even a close game. We got our shit fucking rocked. DJ Moore had a career game, 4 or 5 receptions for 200 and something yards. Yeah, Emmanuel Forbes got cooked that game. And going on to Emmanuel Forbes, do you see Emmanuel Forbes coming up and being better than what he was this year?
I mean, it wouldn't be. I mean, you can't count him out. First off, it wouldn't be much. It wouldn't be much. It wouldn't be much of an accomplishment for him to be any better than he was this year. He was pretty bad this year, so it wouldn't be hard for him to be better than he was this year. So, just like Trayvon Diggs got torched his rookie year, I think he can make a come up. But everybody not the same player, and you never know. But I do hope that he has a good sophomore season because, bro, what you got to understand, bro, he's a great ball hawking player still. He's still just a little undersized. I still think he got a lot of talent, bro. You just got to give him time, though.
Now, do you think a guy like Dan Quinn could fix Emmanuel Forbes? A guy like Dan Quinn who's helped out guys like Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland, helped Stephon Gilmore look really nice, made Jordan Lewis for the Cowboys that looks so much like a liability. Do you think that there's any faith in Dan Quinn to help out Emmanuel Forbes?
Yeah, I think what a lot of fans don't understand that made fun of Emmanuel Forbes is the system was also very very bad. Jack Del Rio system did not help the corners. Our defensive line that got built up to be like this unstoppable force also did not help our defensive backs. So it was a lot of time to cover because our guys wasn't getting the pressure that they should have. The system wasn't as good as it should have been. I think yeah, that ain't just slipped. But yeah, I think I think Dan Quinn's system can help Emmanuel Forbes in his sophomore season. Definitely compared to Jack Del Rio system. Jack Del Rio system's trash. I'm looking forward to at least our defense with Dan Quinn. So they should have an improvement year.
Right. So now going on to Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn hired for the Washington Commanders, coming in to be our new head coach. Me personally, that was not my option. That was not what I was praying for nights, days for. I was praying for the Mac McDonald and the Ben Johnsons and hell, even the fucking I don't even know who else that was a head coaching opportunity for us, but Ben Johnson really hoed us, man. At the end of the day, Ben Johnson fucked I think any person who wanted him over that day. I think next year when he tries to go get his head coaching spot, it's going to be really interesting to see who's going to be willing to do that after what he did. Because he would have most definitely, but reportedly saying though, like he wanted a bag. He wanted a lot more money than I apparently is an average for a head coach. So Dan Quinn and his staff, he brought Dan Quinn. You got Dan Quinn, obviously. We got Joe Witt coming in also. I think he was the passing coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. And then we had who else? Cliff Kingsbury. So going off of that coaching staff alone, what is your optimism about that coaching staff coming into next season?
Yeah, like it's crazy. We finally talking about this on the Commander show. We've talked about this on other shows though. But again, like you said, Dan Quinn obviously wasn't our first choice as our head coach, as our new head coach, and I don't think he was the program, the front office's like number one guy on the board when it came to hiring head coaches. Ben Johnson definitely fucked us over. I could go deep into Ben Johnson, but we're not gonna do that. That's not the question. But at first when we first hired Dan Quinn, it's like I didn't want this guy because he wasn't my number one. He's not a young head coach. He's a defensive guy, I wanted an offensive guy. But one thing you gotta understand, we're not in the front office for a reason right now. So we got a lot to learn as football fans. What you got to understand is just to be optimistic in general and give him the benefit of the doubt to start off with. And as he started to make the hires, Anthony Lynn, the guy from the Eagles, he got Anthony Lynn, Cliff Kingsbury, guys like that. As he started to make hires and built a staff, I really like the staff that he built. It made me even more optimistic. I think they're going to work really well together. I think we got a really good staff. What's to be seen is how short of a leash will he be on, because obviously he wasn't the number one guy. And it's like, I don't know what they would do depending on how this next season goes. Do they keep running with him? I don't know what his deal exactly was, but it's just like, bro, he wasn't your guy. I wouldn't be surprised if he only gets one season. If
really?
It just didn't go exactly how they planned, because I don't think he's genuinely the guy they really, really want.
Yeah.
Long term, I think they wanted somebody younger.
Yeah. So, real quick, by the way, reason why we're not getting a lot of comments is because I accidentally disabled the chat. So, my bad. But going on to what you're saying though about Dan Quinn getting the one season. Man, dude, that would just be such a horrible fucking look on Josh Harris if they went in and only gave him. And then think about how bad it'd be if they put fucking Cliff Kingsbury as the head coach. Oh fuck, dude, that actually, I don't know how I feel about that. I'd be pretty scared for that. But going on to some stuff about that, Cliff Kingsbury, that is someone that I really want to talk about, because in my eyes, I don't think that Cliff Kingsbury addition is a bad move. Cliff Kingsbury is without a doubt one of the strangest head coaches I think I've ever seen, or coaches in general. His rep for quarterback development is phenomenal. I mean, if we're going to go off of who he's developed in his career, like Patrick Mahomes and Manziel, I think, too, and all of those great quarterbacks who were good in college and have progressed to be good in the NFL, he's been very good in that. He had his one good season in Arizona when they were 7-0, 8-0, and then unfortunately Murray threw that interception with Phil Douglas, and then that downfall just happened. Cliff Kingsbury, if we draft a quarterback at 1, which I'm expecting we do, or not at 1, at 2, if we draft a quarterback at the second overall pick, regardless of the situation, regardless of what's going on, does that give us an automatic A+ grade or a B+ grade in the draft just for who we have, like a guy in Cliff Kingsbury, or what?
We're number 2. When you're at the number 2 pick, it's pretty hard to get under an A, B. Definitely under a B. It'd be like absolutely historical if we somehow got under a B for a guy we picked. We'd have to take like Bo Nix at 2 to get like under a B. But I think we should definitely get an A no matter who we pick out of the top 3 quarterbacks though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So now going in, also we also saw Anthony Lynn also getting picked up on our coaching staff too, a former head coach in the NFL. Is that also something good that can help us out with a guy like Brian Robinson, a guy like if we re-sign Antonio Gibson, or do you see us bringing in a guy because there's been, I think, mocks for the last 2 seasons of the Commanders of us getting a premier running back like Austin Eckler, Jonathan Taylor, or Josh Jacobs. Do you see any of those 3 guys coming in? I personally don't think we do need a running back. I think we have our running back, but what is your opinion on this whole running back?
The running backs, we don't need any of the top running backs. I think that but with all the top running backs being so cheap, it wouldn't be bad to get one. Like Saquon Barkley and them wouldn't be going for that much. So if you end up with like Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, that's not bad to have both him and Brian Robinson. Anthony Lynn definitely going to help the run game. He's helped multiple teams run games in the past. What I think is you don't need to draft a new running back necessarily. You shouldn't waste a draft pick on a running back this year because it's like, bro, you got so many more needs. We letting go of offensive linemen. You got to get edge rushers, all types of things like that. But I think that a guy that I would get in free agency is DeAndre Swift. Swift is a running back. I think he wouldn't be as much as the other guys, Josh Jacobs and them, and he would be a great compliment to Brian Robinson. So we should go for DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned those cuts too. So we also have cut people, and the people that we've cut Charles Leno, a left tackle. We've cut Nick Gates, and then we also cut Logan Thomas. Those guys, I mean, from those last 4 years of Ron Rivera, they had their moments. So, obviously, praise to them for what they did in Washington. Logan Thomas, especially, I feel like that one was more of a fan favorite. He was, good, with just on and off the field, along with, being really versatile at, being able to play quarterback even and playing that one past, McLaurin on Thanksgiving a couple of years ago. Logan Thomas, fan favorite. I can't hate on him. Charles Leno, I remember when me and Chris first met, we were so happy to get Leno, and we were like, oh my God, like we were DMing him. We were like, tell him to come here because we didn't have a left tackle. And he was that one thing we needed for the O-line, and having Eric Flowers, Sheriff, Roulier, and Cosme. And then Nick Gates, man, that was just like, he was bad. Like that was just no offense to Nick Gates, but he just was not good. And I know he was battling. I think he had injuries in his career, and for his remarkable comeback, so I praise him for that. It just wasn't the right time, right night, right place. And now we're really rebuilding the O-line. But there is a bright spot in this offensive line, though, having Sam Cosme being one of the most premier right guards in the NFL. Do you think Sam Cosme has been now really that filler position since Brandon Sheriff left? Do you think we found our premier right guard that we've kind of been missing since Sheriff?
To a certain extent, Sam Cosme is a great player. I don't think he's up to like Brandon Sheriff level yet. You know what I'm saying? Brandon was a great player. We definitely messed him and Trent Williams over. We should have had both of them to this day. Sam Cosmi, like I said, great player, but he still got a lot to work on. He's still injured a lot of the time. Gets injured a lot of the time. He gotta stop being soft, bro. He gotta man up and play some games, bro. And but Sam Cosmi, good player, bro, and he's gonna continue to get better. And I think one day he could get up to Brandon's level, but as of right now, no.
No, but for sure, his career heading in the right direction for Washington, especially on a cheap deal too. He was a second round pick too, so he's not getting paid a whole lot, which is really good for all the offensive line. So, Chris, in the draft, obviously, we're going to also be doing a mock draft. Also, guys, a quick little Washington Commanders 7-round mock. Who is the guy you want to see at left tackle? Because you can go get someone in free agency, and you're taking a shot in the dark. And you also could say the same thing about the draft. Who is somebody that you want in free agency, or is somebody you want in the draft that you want to come play? I feel like I think I know a name that you'll say, but I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I know, but I haven't gotten into looking at the offensive linemen in the draft yet. I have looked at many other positions, but I have not got to the offensive line yet. I'm sorry for that, but I would probably if it was up to me, I would build my offensive line. You got to get some guy. I want the first in the first 3 rounds, not the first round obviously, but the second and the third round. We got multiple picks in the third round. We need to get a couple offensive linemen. Definitely one in the second round. We need to get an offensive lineman high in the draft. And then we need to get some veteran guys also from free agency, bro. You want to get a mix of both. But I haven't looked into anybody in particular yet. But as soon as I do, I will give y'all some names that we should take. But we definitely should take one first 2 rounds.
Yeah, so a guy that I've been looking at too is we're at the 36th pick in the second round. A guy I've been really looking at too is getting Patrick Paul. He's related to our guy, our left guard, Chris Paul. We picked up in the 7th round I think it was to the year that Sam Howell and Brian Robinson were drafted. Patrick Paul, man, he's fucking tall, dude. I mean, we're looking at he's like 6 foot, I think 6'4", 5, 6, 7. I don't even know. 6'7", 200 something hundred pounds, dude. I mean, and if you go and watch him at the Senior Bowl, man, he was fucking great. There's also a guy, Graham Barton, too, out of Duke, that's really nice too. There's also a Jordan Morgan too out of Arizona. I could be messing up the name too, but Jordan Morgan is also a solid tackle that we could use. Also, there's a lot of great tackles in this draft. A lot of great interior offensive line also. So we're mixing it up. So now going on to a signing that we've had. Zach Ertz, 1 year up to $5 million. Personally, I love the move. You get a veteran true tight end in there. Zach Ertz was a premium tight end throughout the 2010s. He's a little washed now. He's 33 years old. But Zach Ertz is true at that position. Unlike Logan Thomas, who had to transform into that position, Zach Ertz really is that premium tight end that everyone loves. And he fits in that Cliff Kingsbury offense. He's not going to have to learn. He's not going to have to learn a lot because he's going to be helping teaching a lot. Do you think Zach Ertz coming in could help out a guy like Cole Turner, John Bates, who have not been getting that development, or even Amari Rodgers too? Do you think he can help out in their progression and really help them get more involved in the offense?
All right, well, to start off with, I think Cliff Kingsbury made this move because him and Zach Ertz got a great relationship. He definitely liked Zach Ertz. Him and Zach Ertz liked their time together in Arizona. I think it was a good move because yes, Zach Ertz is washed now. He could still be a decent red zone target, but he's not going to be an every down tight end for you right now. But yeah, he's a little washed now, and I think that at this point, bro, him and Logan Thomas probably the same playing level right now. If Logan Thomas isn't better, but he is definitely going to help guys like Cole Turner. I like a lot. Bates I like a lot. Rodgers I like a lot. Having those guys, bro, he's going to help those guys because he's a veteran and he's going to be way cheaper than Logan Thomas was. So it definitely was a good move, and he's a veteran, like damn near Hall of Fame tight end, bro, and he can teach our young tight ends a lot. And we got a lot of young talented tight ends, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that is true. Now going also into receivers, we're going to just talk about a lot of these offensive positions because why not? But now going into receivers, now obviously we have McLaurin, we have Dotson, Curtis Samuel is a free agent. Do you bring back Curtis Samuel?
I mean, I think he earned it coming back, but with this draft being so deep, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's a lot of guys in this draft that could be better than Curtis Samuel. I like how Curtis Samuel was used last season. He was really, 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 really clutch. really clutch. He like, yeah, I know he came on like the first couple years. He had a lot of problems where he was always off the field, and we was like praying that he could play every Sunday. But the last couple of years, bro, Curtis Samuels has been great for the team, and he's cool with Terry. And I feel like you want to keep Terry happy at all costs because you're not keeping him very happy when it comes to targets or winning games. So I think you want to keep his friend in the locker room with him and give him something to be happy about here at least, bro. But I think Curtis Samuel should get re-signed. He definitely earned it last season, and it really just comes down to how much you want. If you want too much, bro, you can go find a wide receiver in the draft, bro. This class deep.
Yeah, you can go and find. I now a guy I've been a real big fan of is AD Mitchell, 6'4", phenomenal guy. I mean, after the combine, we're probably not going to get him anymore just because him and Xavier Worthy, they fucking played amazing at the combine. Now going on to that too, to McLaurin and all that. McLaurin had a down year this year. McLaurin had a down year. There's no way of looking at it. He had a down year. Do you think Terry McLaurin bounces back next season as more of not of a comeback player of the year, but not comeback player of the year, but more of a most improved, or kind of like could he improve? And what is a way for Terry McLaurin to really improve? Honestly,
it's one thing. Obviously everybody loves Terry McLaurin. I love Terry McLaurin. We some of his biggest fans. But it's one thing about Terry McLaurin that I just don't like is that we've been waiting for his ultimate breakout for years. Like, he's a great player. He's been playing good, but we've been waiting for like the 1,500-yard season, bro. And we keep getting the barely cracking 1,000, 1,100, pushing 1,200. Terry McLaurin can be a 1,500-yard receiver if he was used how other top receivers are used, forced into the game plan, like other top receivers are forced into the game plan. Quarterbacks targeting them how other, and so on, bro. I think that this season, obviously, it felt like a down year, but I don't think. At first, I did give him a hard time about it, but I don't feel like it was as his fault as I thought at first it was his fault. As you can see, like the game when Jacoby Brissett came into the game instead of Sam Howell, he had his best game, single game, like out of his whole career, bro. He was like 140 yards in one game or something like that, bro. 100 some yards, way over 100 yards. That was like his best game he's ever had in his career, and that was just with Jacoby Brissett coming in, bro. It's like I feel like we've been saying like, yo, you get him the right quarterback, he's gonna be that guy. And it's just like we keep getting new quarterbacks, and we still haven't got that guy for him. But it's like I don't know if we can ever get that guy for him, bro. I feel like McLaurin would have to go somewhere else to actually be that 1,500-yard receiver, bro. And I just don't want him to go somewhere else.
Yeah,
but yeah, he could. But to answer the question, he definitely should bounce back next season. And it really depends on who the next quarterback is. Hopefully, the next quarterback can get him the ball.
Yeah. So another thing too I'm looking at also is Jahan Dotson. Also, Jahan Dotson had a little bit of a down year this year, but he was also injured a little bit. Also, I still look at Jahan Dotson as a great pick in the draft that we took. People still say it was a reach. I don't think that he's a bust. I don't think he's a reach. I think that Jahan Dotson, for what he needs to do on the team, he does what he has to do. Last year, his rookie year, man, that rookie year, he had I wouldn't say sensational because that's a little bit of a stretch, but he had a pretty good rookie season. He led all wide receivers and rookie wide receivers in touchdowns throughout the entire year. He was a great red zone threat. Him and Terry were just connecting really well. And if it was Terry not going off, it was Jahan. If it wasn't Jahan going off, it was Terry. I think just Eric Bieniemy really ruined Jahan. I just didn't think he got him involved. I think that Eric Bieniemy, and this is not even like a joke, I think Eric Bieniemy wanted to get more of Byron Pringle and Logan Thomas and Curtis Samuel more involved than McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. And then we saw in those games in like Philly and Jahan Dotson played Philadelphia and McLaurin played Philadelphia. They were just tearing them up, dude. Jahan had his 100-yard game on Philly. McLaurin had his like 90 to 100-yard game on Philly. Do you think last year was a scheme issue on the Commanders, or do you think it was a player issue on the Commanders?
I don't know. I feel like you said, Eric Bieniemy did a lot of questionable things when it came to game planning. But at the same time, if you really watch, it was times where Sam Howell was standing in the pocket and it was just like nobody was getting open. So it really like they wasn't getting separation like they were supposed to. I think throughout the season, there was like multiple like charts that showed that they weren't getting the separation they were supposed to. They have to get more separation, and I know those McLaurin and Dotson are guys that can get separation. But to back up your point, yeah, Dotson's definitely not a bust. You could say he's been just a tad disappointing. Definitely off the last season, his rookie season was great. You could say maybe we reached a bit still, but he's definitely not a bust. He's definitely still a good player. The last season he had his games where he was going crazy, and then he had his games where he disappeared. It was kind of up and down last season. I think this next year, he could still be a really great player. I don't know who else we're gonna bring in at wide receiver now. So we could draft another receiver, and then he moves down to number 3. You never know.
Yeah, my idea would love to have maybe a nice 6'2", 6'3" guy on the outside that matches up pretty well with McLaurin, and then have Jahan in the slot. Because if you put Jahan in the slot, he'll beat any man coverage, any zone coverage, any linebacker coverage, and ever, and that'll really help his yards rack up. And really, get McLaurin too, get a guy in there to help kind of take the attention off of McLaurin, and maybe this other guy who comes in to help out. I'm really excited for this offense this season, but it's who it's going to be led by.
Yeah.
Number 2 overall pick in the drafts, there's 2 quarterbacks that come to mind: Drake May and Jaden Daniels. Now, I think throughout the week, Chris and Dylan have been going back and forth on this whole if Drake May's good, if Drake May's bad. Chris, I know you've said it before on the group chat, but Drake May at 2 in Washington. If he comes in, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so we've seen me in past years flip out on camera at the draft reaction. I don't think I just flip out because I'm pretty much ready for them to take Drake May. I think the pick's gonna be Drake May. If Drake May's at 2 and the Chicago Bears don't happen to just be like, yo, Caleb Williams don't want to be here, I'm gonna take Drake May instead. Because I feel like Drake May's getting the hype to where the Chicago Bears may get tricked into taking him over Caleb Williams, like I said before. But back to the point. I wouldn't just flip out, but it's like, yo, I wouldn't be happy. But I just suck my teeth and just be like, man, you just got to give them the benefit of the doubt and just really see how it's gonna play out, bro. Because there's nothing you can really do about it, bro. I can get as mad as I want, bro. It's not gonna change you feel me? But I wouldn't be happy about it, definitely, because I just don't think Drake May is a good quarterback. I don't think Drake May is gonna be good in Washington. A lot of his cons literally don't match up for what Washington has. We don't have the offensive line. His cons is bad footwork, holding the ball, slow wind up. That doesn't mesh well with having a bad O-line. I don't see how people will see him going to Washington is good. I would, like Ron Rivera even said, bro, you want a quarterback for Cliff Kingsbury's system, you got to go Jaden Daniels. But yeah.
So, do you think it's trending towards the fact of Jaden Daniels coming to Washington? Because I know that it doesn't really matter, but there's obviously you see over Twitter that the odds of who's going where. I know that doesn't fully matter, but it kind of has it's a helpful way to see what's going on and where it's shifting towards, and it's trending up for Jaden Daniels. Do you think Jaden Daniels at his pro day, because obviously he will have a pro day at LSU with Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors at his pro day? How much does Jaden Daniels have to do to go from 6 or 3 to 2, basically? Because right now Jaden Daniels is mocked either to us, the Giants, the Patriots, or the Raiders trading up, or the Falcons.
Right. One thing to start off with, you don't want him to fall to the Giants. I feel like Atlanta would be a great spot for Jaden Daniels. But at the combine, Jaden Daniels, I don't think it's really much you can do at not the combine. I don't think it's really much he can do at a pro day to raise him over Drake May. It's really going to come down to the film. He can have a great pro day, but so can Drake May. I think that it definitely has been trending up for Jaden Daniels the last couple of days. I know you said something about the bid odds going up for him being the number 2 pick or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely been trending up the last couple of days. But I think that the reports of Washington really liking Drake May either is a really big smokescreen from Washington's front office, or they genuinely like Drake May. And I feel like they really genuinely like Drake May. That's why I'm really just ready for them. I'm ready for it to be Drake May.
See, I don't think that's what it is. I think it's a smoke screen part of it too, because
Okay.
the thing is that is not many GMs are very high on Drake May. Not many are. Now, there's a lot of reports that are saying that Drake May. There's more of a chance that if Drake May doesn't get selected number 2, that Drake May is going to fall out of the top 3 than Jaden Daniels would, or you know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I don't know, man. It's more of like I just think that Drake May might just fall, man. I don't know. Like in my mock draft,
I really think he should, but I don't know. I feel like other than Chris Sims, a lot of the other like top analysts really do like Drake May, and I don't understand it. I think he should fall, but I just haven't seen it.
Though, Mel Kiper, who's he's like the top of the mock drafts. Apparently, he's the one fucking dude who's like smarter than everyone. I mean that with quotations, but he has us mocked with Jaden Daniels. And he keeps saying that Jaden Daniels this, Jaden Daniels that, going to Washington. And then he's posted about 2 or 3 mock drafts since that first one. And all of them has been Jaden Daniels. So I think that the right pick is Jaden Daniels. The wrong pick is going to be Drake May. I just don't see Drake May just being – it's just the way that his play style is. It's not going to fit with a team with a bad O-line. It's just not going to. If they take Drake May, and it really depends what they do in free agency, which kind of it'll kind of make me think of who they'll take. If they take a lot of like, speedy guys or whatever that just fucking run around and all this shit and has good route running, I think it'll be Jaden Daniels because it's going to be those tall receivers that can move. Who reminds you of that? Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. They're going to want to build it off of LSU, how he succeeded, because he's obviously wants to succeed in that system. So I think for the Cliff Kingsbury offense, he succeeded with Kyler Murray. He succeeded with Patrick Mahomes. He made Johnny Manziel just run around fucking throwing shit, and he fucking won a Heisman. So, I mean, it's really like, Drake May just doesn't fit that Cliff Kingsbury system at all. I don't think it's going to be successful. I think the Caleb Williams door is closed on Washington. It's looking like it, unless they move up. They haven't ruled out moving up. They've only ruled out moving down.
Yeah, so, the hype with Caleb Williams has pretty much died down for now, at least.
Yeah, so I mean, as of right now, it's going to look like Caleb 1, 2 is Drake or Jaden Daniels. I don't know. Like number 2 is not even for sure yet because nobody knows what number 2 is, and then New England doesn't even know what the fuck they're going to do. They're trying to stop Mac Jones, but yet they're still thinking about taking Marvin Harrison. So I don't know who's going to throw the ball to Marvin. If I'm fucking put Marvin at quarterback, I guess. I don't know.
Unless they take one of the guys in free agency, but that's besides the point.
Yeah. Now going on to the defensive side of the ball, we got to talk about the D-line because that's our glory days. That was the one thing that held the team together was those 4 guys: Montez, Chase, Allen, and Payne. Now we're down to Allen and Payne with Allen being kind of a hot topic of being traded. So do you think that Jonathan Allen gets traded?
At first, it was rumors of him being traded because of the little mental breakdown he had on screaming about how we've been trash for 7 years when it also comes down to you're on the team. Like, why are you screaming in the mic at us? Nigga, you're like, come on, bro. You wasn't doing anything on the field either, though, bro. So, like, you was on the field getting no pressures, no nothing. Anyways, yeah, at first there was a lot. I don't think he's going to get traded anymore. At first, I did think he was going to get traded, and I would have been fine with him getting traded personally because he didn't really do much. I would be fine with just keeping Daron Payne and scrapping everybody else. KJ Henry, he showed a lot. I like him. But everybody else could really got scrapped in my opinion.
So
if they still traded Jonathan Allen and get like a 2nd-round pick, I'd be fine, honestly.
Yeah, I mean his contract is not very big anymore compared to what his buddy got right next to him and what Aaron Donald got. And who was that one dude from Baltimore? Mabuke. I don't know his name is, but he just got $98 million. But going on to the edge rushers, we'll talk about that. But Daron Payne, we're not going to trade him. He's not going anywhere. He's going to stay there for a while. He's the best. He's the better D tackle out of the both of them. Granted, Jonathan Allen on the run game. Jonathan Allen's really great on the run game. It's just his pass rush is, it's very meh. But Daron Payne's pass rush is like a way better. So going on to edge rushers, KJ Henry, he's out of Clemson. He's your guy. KJ Henry's was great. I mean, in those games that he was playing in, he was getting those pressures. He was getting to the quarterback. I really think if he gets developed by the right guy like Dan Quinn, KJ Henry could be really good. I mean, not really good, but he could be pretty solid on the team. He could be an average edge rusher or another guy coming in maybe. No disrespect to Casey Toohill, but he's trash. No disrespect though. He had his 2-sack game and he
Yeah.
do shit after. Do you think KJ Henry and along with a guy like let's say Jamin Davis, who's going down apparently to edge rusher, do you see Jamin Davis move being successful? This is the two questions. And where do you see KJ Henry's potential coming from?
I think moving Jamin down to like get to the quarterback more. I don't think he's gonna be like an actual edge rusher, but I think they're just gonna use him in packages to go get the quarterback. I like that move. He always been good at going to sack the quarterback. KJ Henry, obviously from Clemson, I've always been a big fan. I always feel like he had a lot of potential in the NFL. He's definitely the only edge rusher we got right now that has actual potential to be a good starting edge rusher. Casey Toohill, I wouldn't say Casey Toohill and James Smith-Williams. I wouldn't say they're trash, but they're like role players. They're like guys that like play their role, just follow the plays. Like you know how Chase Young and Montez Sweat, like they're actually like going to get the guys and like they're playing recklessly. Like though like guys like Casey Toohill and stuff, they're just doing what they are like coached to do, bro. And they're not gonna make any like big plays. They're just gonna make the plays that need to be made. I think KJ Henry can be a guy that makes actual big plays, and then you gotta go draft another guy to be on the other side of him.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams that are mocked up. Not a lot of teams, a lot of breakout candidates that going into next year that has KJ Henry on the Commanders breaking out into something really special. I mean, hell, he can go and get 5.5 sacks next year, and that's already an improvement for him being out of the 5th round. Now, going also on to that, linebackers, if Jamin Davis is moved down, which I think I will say this because I know Dylan's going to probably end up watching this at some point. He's going to say, well, you know, you've called Jamin Davis a bust and you think Jamin Davis is bad. And I've been wrong about Jamin Davis. He has not been as bad as I thought he was going to be, but he hasn't been as good as I thought he would be. Obviously, for being a first-round pick, you think that he's going to succeed exceptionally well. I will say, in a lot of games where Jamin Davis is guarding the flats or running backs, his coverage has improved. His pass coverage has improved, especially when it came to man, has improved. Like he's been very good. I remember in that game against the Falcons when he was guarding Bijan Robinson, he was locking him up on that last play where it was that little wheel route. He had him on locks in the receiving game. He was making sure that Bijan didn't do anything on us. And his pass coverage has been pretty good. When it came to blitzing and getting to the quarterback, I think he took a little bit of a step back this year. I remember last year when he got that first couple sacks he had on that Detroit game last year, and he was going at the quarterback. He was way better at that last year than he was this year. I wasn't seeing him get a lot of pressures this year, which is nothing wrong with that either. But I'm not even going to talk about Cody Barton. I don't think there's a need to. I don't think he does anything good. I think he'll be cut from the team. And if he gets re-signed, it's because he needs the insurance that Tony Snell needs for his family. I don't know. But no, Cody Barton is fucking awful. I don't know if he got a sack this year or he got a I don't know.
I think he probably did.
Yeah, I don't even know what he did, dude. I couldn't even tell. I watched all 17 games, and I don't think he did anything in those 17 games. No, he was bad. I mean, he was mocked as one of the worst linebackers in PFF. He just wasn't good. And then going into the safeties, Derek Forrest was out majority of the year, which sucked. Losing Derek Forrest after his breakout year last year. Derek Forrest played really well last year. I think this year he was my leading candidate to have a breakout year this year. Then we brought in a guy named Quan Martin, which at first I was like, why are we taking a safety? It's like Martin made you love drafting the replacement before they could even have a chance to re-sign the guy because it was like Cam Curl's one more year left on his contract. Yeah. So Quan Martin, Chris, I mean, those last couple stretches in the season or whatever, he played okay. He didn't do bad for being a second round safety. Do you see Quan Martin being the new starting safety if they don't want to bring in anybody into agency?
To start off with, I want to say getting Derek Forrest back getting Derek Forrest back and healthy is gonna be another one big part. With Cam Curl potentially leaving, most likely leaving. I think that Quan Martin had a good end to the season. He had a rough start to the season as well. Quan Martin is going to be a pretty solid player. I think what you want to do at Quan Martin, I wouldn't want him as my primary like range free safety or something like that. I would want to get one of those guys. Like, there's too many safeties in free agency to not sign one of them with all the cap space you got, bro. You can lure one of those older guys in with the money you got here, bro. Like, I know a lot of guys not gonna want to play in Washington, but bro, you got enough money to lure one of those old guys in to play free safety for you, bro. And there's a lot of rangy free safeties in free agency this class, so it's too good of a class to just settle down with Quan Martin. But Quan Martin is gonna be a good player. He's definitely gonna be on the field next year, and he's gonna be used pretty well. I feel like they probably could put him like somewhere in the slot box safety, so on one of those positions.
Yeah, getting Derek Forrest back next year. His that 2022 to 23 season that he had, he played, great. And he made because I believe he was on special teams in that 2021-22 season, and then he got brought up to the starting roster. And man, that game against Jacksonville when he knocked the living fuck out of Travis Etienne, man, you just kind of knew right then and there that he was going to be leading guy for us. Who would you want to see though at safety coming in if Cam Curl's not re-signed?
I like Cam Curl to start off with. I want to say I've always been a big fan of Cam Curl. I remember the times that I got to talk to Cam Curl a couple times. It's really upsetting that he's probably going to be out. But it's a business, bro. And I'm not attached to none of the guys that was on that 4-13 team, bro. And I think you got to move on because Cam Curl is a great player. He's a really, really good player, but he's not great when it comes to being a range free safety and just like going all across the field. He's not getting enough turnovers as you would like when it comes to interceptions. So you just got to get more. When it comes to guys I like, I don't know. I like all of the guys, but Justin Simmons. I think Justin Simmons just got released, right? So I would really like Justin Simmons. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would love Justin Simmons too. I would love to have him too. Now, what would it be if the Commanders were to go out and sign like Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde? Because if you sign one of them, you're gonna get the other because apparently they're best friends and they want to continue playing along each other's side for a very long time. Would you be open to signing a Micah Hyde and a Jordan Poyer on a 2-year light deal or whatever to have them kind of come in and just finish off their careers here?
Yeah, definitely if it's light, but I feel like the guys like them, I feel like they try to probably tax and get over on Washington when it comes to money. But if they would come here and play on a lighter deal than what they've been getting, then yeah, I'd be open to it. One of the guys that also got cut from Buffalo that we should take a chance on. I know Tre'Davious White been hurt over the last couple of seasons, but you can't. It wouldn't hurt, but I'm pretty sure his deal would be cheap, and it wouldn't hurt. It'd be like a high reward signing, low risk, high reward. You wouldn't lose much from signing Tre'Davious White. You get Tre'Davious White and then one of the free safeties, and I feel like that's a great two great pickups to start off free agency.
Yeah, I think a good contract for Trey White, man, like a 3-something, $40 million, or like a 1-year deal or 2-year deal around that.
Like a 1-year prove it.
Yeah, like a 1-year prove it deal, or that'd be a great deal too. But now going also on the corner too, which will be our last topic. Kendall Fuller, he's a free agent. Would you want to see? He's been a long Washington guy. I know he started off in Washington. He went and won 2 Super Bowls in Kansas City, and then he once again came back. Do you see Kendall Fuller coming back to Washington? Would you want him back in Washington?
I don't really know if he's gonna come back. Like I said, it's a whole new front office, new coaching. I don't know if they really like want him. He's getting older. I still think he's a pretty good player. I know a lot of niggas like shitted on him the last season, but he wasn't really that bad to me. I felt like he had a solid season. Could have been better. And you could get better at the position. And you probably want to get younger because he's getting up in age. He's getting over 30 soon, I think. And yeah, but I don't know if they really gonna want to sign him back. It's a new front office. Not the guys that brought him in at all the first or the second time he played for Washington. So yeah, I don't know.
I think he was under the Gruden team, and then he was under the Rivera team too. Last question. Kansas City calls and asks you if you want Ladarius Sneed. Are you sending the second round pick over for Ladarius Sneed? Yes or no?
Nah, yeah, easily. I would, yeah, easily, bro. He's probably top 10 corners in the game right now, so you easily do that. You probably have to pay a little bit more to like the first next year. So yeah, you would give away.
You would have to give him a pretty fat contract too, since he's on a contract year. But I would love to Ladarius Sneed on this team. I've been a Ladarius Sneed fan since he came into the league. I would love him in Washington. But that'll wrap it up for today, guys. We'll be going live on Wednesday. Going back to the Wednesday, we've all been busy. Me, Chris, Dylan, ourselves, we've all been a little busy this week, so we had to push back our weekly episode. But we will be back on Wednesday of next week. Talk about free agency's coming up. I know that. I know free agency is coming up within the next couple of days. I think the night before is I think our episode's Wednesday. Free agency starts on Thursday. So we're gonna be filming. We're gonna be having fun. March Madness coming up. Everything. So catch you guys on Wednesday.